Hey guys, Mike Line here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go through our transfer window and rate it out of 10. The transfer window's been closed for a few days now. I've had some time to really, get my thoughts across, clear in my head. Um, First thoughts, I would have really thought this would have been like a 5 or 6 out of 10 window. But we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. We are here on Transfer Market. These are every single one of our outgoings for this summer window, except ignore these three. Obviously, you can see here it says at the end of their loan is at the end of the season. Tiano Ballo with an option to buy, which you'd think we would probably trigger if he comes good for us. Even Steven Mender. But we'll get into all this. Obviously, we lost Fleming for 8 million, which really funded this window. We knew he was going to be leaving from the beginning of last season when he went to Burnley on loan. We knew he was going to join Burnley. It was an obligation, not an option to buy. So we knew we was going to lose him anyway. And to be fair, that's a good bit of business from us. Nisbet's gone. He went back up to Aberdeen. The fee's been reported in the region of 300,000. This says 346. So if I go here, you can see here we've spent 8 points. Well, we've made 8.65. We've made more than that. I'll tell you why. We lost Aaron Connolly. We didn't extend his contract. George Saville chose not to extend his contract, as did Honeyman, I think. Murray Wallace, Liam Roberts, and Duncan Watmore were not offered new contracts. The same with Sean Hutchinson, I'm pretty sure. I think Saville and Honeyman were the only ones that were offered new contracts, but were offered new contracts that were on reduced terms. So I think they both chose not to sign, I think. But here it says Tanganga is a question mark. We know it's about 8 million quid reported. So we've actually made 16 million. So we're actually up by 7 million. So let's take that into account. I think the sale of Tanganga is the one big question mark, as it has it here, is the one big question mark to our window in how we do this season. But in the 2 games that we've played since not having him, we've beat Sheffield United, and we were defensively sound in that game, and lost 2-0 to Wrexham, where I think that Japhet Tanganga would have been lost in that game against Wrexham anyway, considering he would have been up against Kiefer Moore and Ryan Hardy, 2 tall, physical strikers. Don't get me wrong, Tanganga's a physical defender, but he's not 6 foot tall. It would have been an aerial mismatch in that game. And I don't think the defence was an issue against Wrexham. I think there was one goalkeeping mistake, and then we're going for the game with all the pressure that we had. Anyway, with all the pressure that we had on Wrexham, we then conceded a counter attack, which had Nisbet not been the player coming on the pitch. And maybe we changed formation, the ball might have fallen to someone else. And maybe we score, maybe we make it 1-1. And we've already seen many times this season, Wrexham, when conceding a late goal, they crumble. Saw it against Southampton, saw it against West Brom. Wrexham have been known to throw away leads. So, again, I don't think the defence was. I haven't seen a problem with the defence at all. It's a couple of goalkeeping mistakes. You think to Sargent and you think Kiefer Moore's goal, but then on Stephen Bender, we'll talk on him when we go on our incomings. But then it's one week he makes a silly mistake against Norwich, then has a nothing game against Middlesbrough, then goes to Sheffield United and pulls out literally probably that will be his best performance of the season. Like he might get more man of the matches this season, but that game against Sheffield United will be his best performance he will have in a Millwall shirt. Honestly, made 2 or 3 saves that will, at the end of the season, go into the save of the season highlight reel in just that game alone. So, again, not too much to add on in terms of losing Tanganga. I think we're more than fine. It's a lot of money for someone that was available for 1.2 million. I'm surprised a team like Sunderland or Leeds didn't pick him up for 1.2 million, and we've actually gone and got 8 million for a team that are massively underperforming and are below us at the moment. We'll speak not much on Aaron Connolly. He just didn't really do much. Again, he's only 25, but it's such a fucking shame that he was such a promising player at the start of his career that look, I'm pretty sure everyone in football wants him to succeed, but he's had to drop down a league. George Saville, George Hanneman, we've already touched on. Murray Wallace, again, 32. Same with Sean Utterson, just past it at this point. Watmore, again, a lot of people might have fond memories of him. I really don't. He had a purple patch in August last year where he scored like 5 goals in 4 games. Like if that Watmore we got every month, and it wasn't just August or September, then we would have made the playoffs comfortably last year. But it's just not the type of player you really want. Which brings us on to our incomings. These are every single player we've signed in the window, ignore George Evans. That's just a promotion from our under 21s. Josh Coburn, this is 6.4 million euros. It says 6.4 million euros, but that's including add-ons. Same with Caleb Taylor. In fact, I'm not sure on Caleb Taylor. But we spent 9.8 million euros, which is around, I don't know, my conversion rate's not the best. But they're all under 23. We also don't know how much we signed Doughty for, but we've paid money. I don't know about Zach Sturge. I think he might have been a free. I'm not entirely sure. It is a question mark. Oh, I've accidentally. Yeah, it says question mark, and his market value is only 200,000 euros. So, fuck those. But we start with Josh Coburn. He's such a polarizing figure because he's doing all the right things. It's everything but his finishing is good. I don't understand it. Like, his hold-up play is brilliant. He's always in the right fucking areas. He just can't sit the ball in there. He's such a frustrating to look at because he does the right things except the end. Again, Millwall, the only team in the top half of the table with a negative goal difference, and we're a -3, which is quite funny. I say funny, it's not funny. But again, I'm going to throw it back to that one post on Twitter where before the season started, everyone said how many points from Norwich, Borough, Sheffield United, Wrexham. 6 points will be happy, 9 points would be brilliant, 12 points is unreal. A lot of people said 7 or 8 points per 6 wouldn't be bad. Again, everyone expected a loss to Norwich and maybe a loss to Sheffield United or maybe a draw. Maybe a draw with Middlesbrough and a win against Wrexham. So 5 points would have been like the the minimum. So the fact we got 6, we'll be fine. We always have a shaky start to our season, and then middle to the back end of the season we click, and that's when like we push on. So after the first month, you know, let's relax. Let's see where we are come November, December time, and then panic. Because if we're 15, 16 points off the top 4, top 5, top 6, then there'll be a problem. But until then, like, calm down. But Coburn really, really, really needs to prove his worth after the international break. Because everyone's still got Burnley away in their minds. Everyone's still got Middlesbrough in their minds. You know, just for some reason that pre-season Coburn that we saw, yes, it was against Sutton, but he looks so confident. Like he actually looks good. He looked like he was the striker worth €5 million or 2.5 million. I can't speak much on Caleb Taylor. I haven't seen much of him. I know he's highly rated and coming for £2 million. You know, he's gonna have to do something to show us that he's worth that. But to be fair, he did make a cameo against Wrexham. I don't think he was that bad. Again, I don't think anyone was that bad against Wrexham. We just weren't necessarily good. We just, just couldn't finish the final pass. Derek Matsusako, another one that we're not going to have a clue on until after the window, until after the international break, because he's not played any games. The last game that he would have saw was Wrexham, made the signing after Wrexham. No idea. I don't watch the league there. I barely watch Liga. Luongo is a fantastic pickup, only 32. Bags of experience and bags of ability as well. Very, very, very good defensive midfielder. And I feel like a lot of people saying he's like Mitchell and Denor should be on. I don't think so. I think it should be Luongo and Denor, and Mitchell should come on for either one of them around the hour mark, always, just to switch up that midfield. But I think it should be Luongo and, like, I know Mitchell's one of our own, and trust me, I love Billy Mitchell. I think he's been fucking brilliant for us the whole time he's been here. A lot of people have chosen to speak negatively on people that defended him at times when he'd have a bad game. Come on. But I do think that Billy Mitchell is a good player. Personally, Luongo and Denor are both Premier League quality midfielders. Massimo Luongo's getting on a bit, so he's more experienced head. Um, but they're both brilliant midfielders. Max Crocombe. I need to speak this, okay, because Millwall fans piss me off. Everyone's saying that we need Crocombe instead of Bender, needs to take a look at themselves. We've seen Crocombe for 2 games. A cup game against Coventry, in which he didn't really have fuck all to do, made a couple of decent saves, and Newport County. We've seen him against Newport County and Coventry, and people want him over Bender. Don't get me wrong. He dropped a clanger against Norwich and a clanger against Wrexham. Yeah? Goalkeepers are prone to mistakes. That's going to happen. Goalkeepers are going to make mistakes. And again, had he got a little bit luckier and there was spin on the ball that didn't take it inside the post against Norwich, we've been talking about one clanger. We only remember the one against Norwich because it went in. But I'm not saying Crocombe is not a good keeper. Some of the saves that he's made against Newport, specifically that one he made with the goal line scramble, I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper, but there's a reason we've signed him from League One. If we look at his career, he hasn't played in the second division. He's played for Oxford, Carlisle, Salford, Brisbane Roar, shout out Reaper, Melbourne Victory, then went to Grimsby and left Burton to come to Millwall. I'm not saying he's a bad keeper. But, like, there is a reason why we're the first team above League 2 or League 1. Because I think Oxford would have been League 1 in 2016. They might have been League 2. They might have even been National League. I'm not entirely sure. But there's a reason why we're the first ones. Like, everyone relax. Give him another month. And if Bender's still making mistakes like that in every game, then drop him. But Bender will make 4 or 5 unreal saves one week, drop one mistake the next week, and everyone wants to drop him. Relax. Calm down. Crocombe is not going to be the answer to our prayers, because when he inevitably makes a mistake, because he's got all this fucking pressure on him from fans that want to see him, and then he makes one mistake, and then he gets counted off. Max Crocombe is a decent goalkeeper, yes. But he's not a fucking... He's not a Michael Cooper or a Victor Johansson. Fucking hell, he doesn't get... Like, he's not going to get us playoffs. He's not a playoff winning goalkeeper. Or a playoff achieving goalkeeper, I mean. He's a good backup. Which is what we brought him in for. Same with Lucas Jensen, and same with, God rest his soul, Matthias Sarkic. They all had shaky starts. Every goalkeeper we have has shaky starts. Jensen had it, Sarkic had it, and everyone cunted Sarkic, everyone cunted Jensen, everyone's now cunting Bender. Like, relax, calm down. Let him settle. He hasn't played first team football in, like, well over a year. Like, the quality's there. We've seen from Bender that the quality's there. He is a fantastic goalkeeper. There's a reason he's backup for Fulham. Or was backup for Fulham. I'm just saying, everyone needs to relax. Joel Coleman, again, can't speak nothing on him. I'm pretty sure he was brought in because I thought George Evans was going to go out on loan. But George Evans hasn't gone out on loan. So, bit confused. Now, Alfie Doughty is by far and away our best signing of the window. And why this window gets such a high rating in my eyes. Already, we've seen against Norwich just how good his passing and stuff like that really, really is. Honestly, that assist for Langstaff's goal, some fucking player. And we finally have a set-piece specialist. We just need to get players like Caleb Taylor, Cooper and Kramer on the end of them. Tierno Ballo, Will Smallbone were both deadline day signings. Smallbones alone, again, I'll say the same thing that I said to people. I had a conversation with my uncle. All my family are Saints fans. I said the same thing in the video that we signed him. Um, he was practically laughing at the fact that they'd got rid of him to us, and that realistically, he's injury prone. He got injured, was out for a few months, came back, had one game, couldn't get a look in after suffering another injury. He'll fit right in at our club, but I will reserve any kind of judgment until I've seen him, much like Derek Masusako and Caleb Taylor. Until I've seen Caleb Taylor start and Masusako get some minutes and Smallbone play, I'm not going to say nothing. Same with Tiano Ballo. He comes with really, really high pedigree. If we look at his stats for his career, like 6,000 minutes, like this is what I want to look at. This here. Attacking midfielder, centre forward, left wing, right wing, CM, DM, right mid and second striker. He was obviously at Chelsea's under 23s. 12 goals, 7 assists in 47 games is a decent return. I know he's playing under 23s football. Then 33 goals, 51 goal contributions in 110 games is decent. Again, it is the Austrian Bundesliga. I'm not that, I'm not that stupid or what's it called? Like, I can see, but just for last season, 10 goals, 6 assists, 21 goal contributions in 37 games in all comps. It's not bad. And he has some Austrian... Oh, he scored against England under 21s. Yeah, they did lose 4-1. But again, look, I'm just saying, look. He's got some Austrian cap. He's got an Austrian cap. And has played for their under 21s, so... And even getting himself a goal. So, he looks... in terms of his returns, he looks good. And look, you think players like Negley and even going back to players like Zian Fleming and Mahalo Ivanovic, players that come from lesser, maybe in Eredivisie less so, but certainly lesser teams, but from lesser leagues, tear it up for us, and we've then offloaded them for more. We're demanding 15 million for Ivanovic, for fuck's sake. We got 8 million for Fleming. Give it time. Zach Sturge, again, another one that we'll forget about Adame. He's on. That's him when he comes back to us from his loan finishing. But Zach Sturge is a decent signing and will be good, and I think should be ahead of Joe Bryan while Doughty's out. And that leaves us with a positive by 7 million. But looking at our squad, Jensen will be missed. But at the same time, I think Bender's good enough. Cooper needs to do a bit more. I feel like he's slowly getting to that age where he's slowing down a bit. He's making a bit more mistakes than what he used to. Let me just rate the window real sec before we do a squad recap. I would rate this a 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10 purely because we didn't sign a right back. And I want everyone to come back to this point when, come the end of the season, we either make playoffs or miss out on playoffs. Fucking hell. Come back to this in January when our main focus of the window is signing a right back. I don't see how we can persist with Kramer. Don't get me wrong. Tristan Kramer is a fantastic player for us. Playing out a position at right back. Very good at getting forward. But he's a centre back. He's 6'2", 6'3". Oh, this does it in fucking 1.92 metres. Yeah, he's 6'2". Which, as a right back... Come on, we didn't sign him to be a right back, did we? He got the 1 assist against Norwich. But... I just feel like... he's... We need someone like a Doughty on that side. Someone that 90% of the time gets their deliveries right, not wrong. Leonard always fucking spoon-foots one into fucking row J. He always puts in the fucking upper, the Coblo Lane upper. Always. It does my fucking head in. Kramer does it sometimes. They're not fullbacks that will cross a ball in. We needed a player like a Brooke Norton-Cuffy. Leonard, I feel like, is a little bit past it now. McNamara's always fucking injured. And we've got Wes Harding and Tristan Kramer, who are both fucking centre-backs. And I got a fucking bone to pick. 2 seconds. Just a little, what's it called? Kieran Moss said absolutely nailed on that Kramer and Leonard gets injured after the international break and we've got no right back. Perfectly good statement. Bit of a jab at how bad our injury situation is. This guy is so polarising, yeah? I do agree with some of the stuff he says sometimes, but some of the times I think it's a complete fucking monk. But he says, let's sign a new player in case 2 of our right backs get injured. It's my handball, should be my uncle. Leonard and McNamara literally got injured in the same game. The same game. Like, we need a right back. Should we have 5 players for every position then? You can't seriously tell me that you're content with Harding and Leonard as right back options. 2 players that predominantly aren't right backs. Neither's Kramer, but he's actually good. The only out-and-out right back we have is McNamara. Kramer's been bang on the right back. So I said, let me get this straight. You hand out Cooper every week, saying he should be dropped, but we can't drop him without playing Kramer at centre-back. Something we can't do because he's at right back. No one else is good enough. Because no one else is good enough. He himself said that it's a failure we don't get playoffs. But again, he wants to say Cooper's this, Cooper's that. And he wants to say we shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. But at the same time, even here, has been. I'm sorry, Leonard is a has-been. He has been good. But he's not been good for months. Every player had a decent game against Sheffield United, but he's the only person that was shit against Borough, shit against Wrexham. And again, here, every player has a dipping form or a poor one-off game. The Wrexham game was the one to forget for most of our players. No, it fucking wasn't. And Maku had a good game and was by far our standout player, but we weren't shit in that game. I hate the fact that people conflate not bad as shit. It doesn't work like that. Most of our squad was good. Like, again, just look at the stats. No one creates 2xG without being good. Except for our forwards. Look! Negley needed a better thing. Cooper had a bad game. Sturge was all right. Amaka was our best player, and everyone knows this, but they didn't get the highest rating. Doesn't necessarily mean that Leonard deserved his 6.9 or Cooper deserved a 6.2. Kramer had a good game. Luongo and Kundal were brilliant. Coburn couldn't stick the ball in, neither could Ivanovic. But it's funny how both goals we conceded were scored from our left-hand side. Yeah, he was subbed off for the second goal. But he wasn't around for the first goal. Yeah, it was a long ball. There's not much he could do with it. But again, both goals came from his side. He was subbed off after the O'Brien goal. Before the O'Brien goal. But he didn't have a good game. He wasn't like a standout player. He gave the ball away 14 times. Made one pass into the final third, 12 passes into the final third, one touch in their box. Only made one tackle, 2 clearances, 2 headed clearances. Was dribbled past once. He didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a fucking good game. And in positions where we need players up here, look, 0.37 expected assists. I'm guessing that was for him, no? No. I don't know who that would have been for. But he created 2 chances. But had one touch in their box and passed into final third 12 times. 50% accurate crosses and 40% accurate long balls. Like, he was middle of the road. But if we're going to make playoffs, we don't need middle of the road. We want up there. We want top 6. And again, saying fucking who was good on Saturday. We were good. We just couldn't stick the fucking ball in the net. And too many fucking people conflate not good with bad. But again, half our players that day were good. The midfield was good. We created more than enough. We created more than enough. We just couldn't stick the ball in the back of the fucking net. Everyone acting like we were shit. No. But I think, personally, going back to this, a right back, or not having an attacking fullback, is going to kill us this season. We need someone like a wing back that can play fullback. And that's why this window's a 7 out of 10. Had we have brought in a player like Brooke Norton-Cuffy or someone on his level, and a lot of people can say, why do you keep sucking off Brooke Norton-Cuffy? He's the only player that I know of that fits the type of style of fullback that we need. I haven't seen any others. I'm not saying that they don't exist. He's the only one that I've seen. Everyone else has seen him. Everyone that supports this club knows about him. It's the easiest way to get my point across to you. But yeah, Windows is 7 out of 10. I'm going through our squad. I did not know he was already injured. Fuck me. I don't know where he is. For all we know, Zach Lovelace doesn't exist. I like Langstaff. I feel like he's starting to show glimpses of what he was at Notts County. Coburn really, really needs to step up. Ivanovic hasn't had the best of starts to the season. Now the window's closed, we'll see something else maybe. And if we don't, then we know it wasn't the fact that his head was turned, like some people have claimed. And everyone thinks that it's some kind of conspiracy. I don't. I just think that he's had fuck all to do. And every time that anyone goes near him, they've got 2 arms around him. Bangura Williams isn't a winger, he's an attacking midfielder, especially after watching him against Wrexham. Negley, again, is not a right winger, he's an attacking midfielder. Femi Aziz, Benicio Baker are our two wingers. I'd love to see a bit more Benicio Baker. I think just to have some dynamism. Where is he? He's not here. One player I'd love for us to play, and I really need us to see how good he does in the Championship, especially if we're giving cameos to Kelly. It's Rafik Lamptey. I can't remember his first name. Rafik Lamptey in pre-season really, really impressed me. Like, if we go to our under-23s, the fact he's got no, like, he didn't play against Newport is crazy. Because I'm sorry, watching him play against Palace specifically, and who did we play after that? Estoril Praia, was it? Or was it Cadiz? Not Cadiz. Elche. Brav. Okay, yeah, it was Northampton and Elche. That was the one. Praia was the last one before Norwich. That was after Sutton. But even against Sutton and Bromley and like, watching Rafael Lamptey in pre-season, he looks good. Same with Alfie Massey, who's currently like absolutely destroying it for Wildstone. I've seen a bunch of Wildstone fans saying like they've said his shirt number, but we know who it is. Obviously, Alfie Massey, saying that like he's completely bossing this game. Like he looks miles above this level. And again, pose the question: why the fuck did he not go to like a team like Bromley? But I think Cundall's been playing well this season. I've always knew. A lot of people are, after last season said like, "What is it with Cundall? Like, what did people see in Cundall? Like, come on." That's what I'm saying. Like, people are too reactive. People need to give shit time. Maybe I'm too reactive over the fact that we need a right back again. But if I had to give a decimal rating, it would be 7.6, 7.5 in terms of our transfer window. I think our squad looks good. When every one of these players are 100% on it, we are, in my opinion, a top two side. When every player here is at their best and firing, and is at the peak of their powers, and is having a 10 out of 10 game, we are a top two side. I think everyone on a 7 out of 10 game, top six. Too many players are having 4 out of 10s so far. And at the moment, it comes back to no matter who we sign, we have that problem. We just can't stick the ball in the fucking net. And I don't get it. We have Mihailo Ivanovic, Josh Coburn, Macaulay Langstaff. Like, Langstaff scored well over 100 goals in 3 seasons for Gateshead and Notts County. Mihailo Ivanovic scored 13 goals in his first season in English football. And is by far our most valuable. That being 4 million is a fucking joke. But again, the reason we want 15 million for him because he's that good. But for some reason, we just can't score goals. And you might say it comes from the creation. Come on, we've got Negley, Aziz, and Amaku, Kundal, Donor, Luongo, Doughty. We can create enough. just for some reason, once again, we just can't score goals. So far, we've scored 3 goals this season. 3 in 4 games. Three goals in 4 games. And that's always our problem. I just don't understand. But in Alex Neil we trust. I still believe that playoffs is the aim. Playoffs is the target. And do I think we'll get there? Personally, I do. Honestly, I think we make playoffs. Depends on injuries and the January transfer window. But again, I still think playoffs are realistic, achievable. I don't see why not. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you think, you put your own opinions down there. If you want to call me a cunt, you can call me a cunt. I don't care. But don't just call me a cunt for the sake of calling me a cunt. Give your opinion. Give me reasoning. Don't just call me a fucking idiot. Tell me why I'm an idiot. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me or disagree. What you think about certain players. What you think we were missing. What you think that we were stupid not to add. And I think that we personally will finish 6th. I really do. I think we've had a good window, a 7.5, 7.6 out of 10. I'll see you in my next video.